Hello, and welcome to Old Friends and New. This is All Together Now, and I'm your host for the evening, Bobbie Steinbach. We are so glad that you have chosen to spend this time with us, and we are delighted to share what we have this evening with you. We're going to start tonight with the Ernie and Elliot Norton Award-winning actor and director, Alan Burrows. Al is the artistic director of Shakespeare and Company in the Berkshires and my friend and colleague. We're going to talk about how Shakespeare and Company is navigating in this strange time, and Al will share some of their work. And the fiddler and singer Kathleen Parks from the band Twisted Pine is here as well. The Boston Globe calls Twisted Pine boundary jumpers, akin to outfits like Punch Brothers, Nickel Creek, and Crooked Still. You all know how we love boundary jumping here at All Together Now. Kathleen's going to share a video that Twisted Pine made recently and also play something live for you. So, what has Alan Burrows done, you might ask? Well, what hasn't he done? Alan is an acclaimed actor and director working with many of the most essential repertory theaters around the country, as well as off-Broadway and most often in Massachusetts, where he has long been a fixture at Lyric Stage with the Huntington Theater Company and at Actors Shakespeare Project, where he was the artistic director for 7 years. And now at Shakespeare and Company, where he occupies that same role with compassion, integrity, and intelligence. Alan creates a space in which artists thrive, and he makes them laugh. Always. Welcome, Al.
Hey, Bobbie, or as I like to affectionately refer to you as Bob. Hi, Bob.
You're here.
I have to say, it's a real honor to be sharing this venue with Twisted Pine this evening. And, just to hear you use a phrase like boundary jumpers, I'm going to have to rob that going forward. Great to see you.
It's great to see you too. Where are you joining us from tonight? What are your days like right now?
Oh gosh, well, I'm out in Lenox. It's normally we'd be gearing up and kicking in all the pistons to fire up our summer season, but we postponed that season till next summer for all the apparent reasons, those that are evident to all of us. And so we spend a lot of time kind of taking stock, thinking more deeply about the work that we do and planning for the future beyond this time. And that's kind of where we are. And we think about how much we value people and relationships and feel really fortunate to do actually what we do, which is this incredibly electric place that we live, which is theater. And I also am fortunate to be in a very beautiful environment out here in Lenox, Massachusetts.
Yeah. You certainly are deeply steeped, as you have been for many, many years, in the works of Shakespeare. And what are you finding it offers to you and to audiences in this strange time?
Well, it's interesting. Shakespeare himself lived through a number of plagues, one of them in 1593. And what was interesting is that it was shortly thereafter, and I learned this from a great Peter Ackroyd of Shakespeare, and that he wrote Venus and Adonis, or as the English say, Venus and Adonis. And he if that plague had lasted much longer, he just might have been a poet by trade, because Venus and Adonis turned out to be a very hot-selling poem, because it was kind of hot anyway. So so he was able to go back to the stage and to playwriting. But a time like this really makes you take stock and assess where you are. And so we actually have a particular context with Shakespeare to think about where we are in this particular pandemic. So we feel really fortunate to have so many good friends who are supporting us, and we're going to just keep looking forward. That's what we're going to do.
Wonderful. Well, I know you have some videos for us tonight. I've seen them, and they are delightful. You want to tell us a little bit about those? Give us some context?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. These are 3 videos, 3 little clips. It gives us an opportunity for a look back, a bit of reminiscing. The first one you'll see is Tamara Hickey, who played Ariel in our production of The Tempest that I directed out here in my first season back in 2017 in the newly built Roman Garden Theater. And then you'll see Makania Chesser do her rendition of Casca that she did for Actors Shakespeare Project, and then revisited in a stage reading of Julius Caesar and out here last summer with John Douglas Thompson. And then later on, you'll see performance by Gregory Boover of Festi in a production of Twelfth Night that I directed last summer out here. And he will take us out with singing The Wind and the Rain. So we start, I guess, with Tamara and Makani.
Yes, let's roll those videos.
All hail, great master. Grave sir, hail. I come to answer thy best pleasure, be it to fly, to swim, to dive into the fire, to ride on the curled clouds, to thy strong bidding task, Ariel, and all her quality. I boarded the kingship, now on the beak, now in the waist, the deck, in every cabin I flamed amazement. Sometimes I divide and burn in many places. On the topmast, the yards, the bowsprit, would I flame distinctly, then meet and join. Oh, the fire and cracks of sulphurous roaring, the most mighty Neptune seemed to besiege, and make his bold waves tremble, yea, his dread trident shake. All but mariners plunged in the foaming brine and quit the vessel. Then all afire with me. The king's son, Ferdinand, with hair upstaring, then like reeds, not hair, was the first man that leaped, cried, hell is empty and all the devils are here. Not a hair perished. On their sustaining garments, not a blemish, but fresher than before. And as thou badest me, in troops I did disperse them about the isle. The king's son have I landed by himself, whom I left cooling the air with sighs, in an odd angle of the isle, and sitting his arms in this sad knot. Safely in harbor is the king's ship. In that deep nook where once thou calledst me up at midnight to fetch dew from the still vexed Bermudes, there she is hid. Is there more toil? Since thou dost give me pains, let me remember thee what thou hast promised, which is not yet performed me, my liberty. I prithee, I have done thee worthy service, told thee no lies, made thee no mistaking, served without no grudge, no grumblings. Thou didst promise to bait me a full year. Pardon, master. I will be correspondent to command and do my spiriting gently.
I can as well be hanged as tell the manner of it. It was mere foolery, I did not mark it. I saw Mark Antony offer him a crown. Yet 'twas not a crown neither, 'twas one of these coronets. And as I told you, he put it by once. But for all that, to my thinking, he would fain have had it. Then he offered it to him again. He put it by again, but to my thinking, he was very loath to lay his fingers off it. And then he offered it the third time. He put it the third time by, and still, as he refused it, the rabblement hooted and clapped their chapped hands and threw up their sweaty nightcaps and uttered such a deal of stinking breath 'cause Caesar had refused the crown. It had almost choked Caesar, for he swooned and fell down at it. And for mine own part, I durst not laugh, for fear of opening my lips and receiving the bad air.
That was Tamara Hickey as Ariel from Shakespeare and Company's production of The Tempest, and Makania Chesser as Casca from their production of Julius Caesar. Two extraordinary actors, and just delightful to share the stage with. So,
a little bit of context on those, Bobbie, that both, the thing about Ariel and Casca and subsequently Festi that you'll see at the end of this, they're all truth tellers, right? That's what kind of ties them all together. And it's from Casca that we get the expression, "It's all Greek to me." So that just gives you a little bit of context.
Thank you. So your summer program, your summer season, I should say, I know you had to cancel this year, as have so many theaters. How did you make the decision, and what does the summer look like for the company right now?
Right. Well, what I guess the terminology we're using is postponed till next year. We had King Lear on the docket, starring Christopher Lloyd, that was going to be on our main stage in the Tina Packer Playhouse. We were going to do Much Ado About Nothing in the Roman Garden Theater. We were going to do Comedy of Errors over on the Dell at the Mount. And I felt that rather than try to hope for the best and pull a season apart, that we would just move it and produce it next year as best we could, and including a number of wonderful modern titles as well. But so this year, just the other day, Governor Baker announced that we were going to do a slow reopening. And that, of course, leaves you wondering, well, okay, what does that mean for us? As theaters, we are probably in phase 4, towards the end of things, but what can we do within our particular guidelines? So just tomorrow night, I'm testing out something that I call Drive-In Shakespeare. We will hopefully have a drive-in movie theater right here on the property, as well as being able to beam some live performance right into people's cars, keep them in their cars, and not have them gather, because of course the number of people that can gather is still limited for the foreseeable future. We're hoping to do stuff like Take Out Shakespeare, where we go and spill out onto people's lawns and do Shakespeare scenes in people's lawns. I'm hoping to have an FM transmitter arrive soon where I can do bedtime Shakespeare, where read people's kids as they sit on their cars on the property, and a number of things. We were really fortunate to get the Small Business Association loan, and so we're able to keep the machinery going for the foreseeable future, and we feel really fortunate in that way. But basically, it's really about taking the longer view and appreciating everything that we have, really, including those that we love around us, and making sure that the community is taken care of, our close community and the community at large out here, and the theatrical community, because so many people really need to be checked in on. And it's an opportunity for us to reconnect with people. I mean, hats off to you guys for putting this together as a way of touching base with people. It's really important to reinforce what we have. And so at the bottom line is that we feel really just very grateful. So that's what we're doing. We're doing a lot of conversation and waiting for what may come next. If something lifts, we'll be ready to put on some programming.
I bet you will.
We're good to thinking on our feet.
Yeah, it's really wonderful, the creativity that's happening right now. That artists are just leaping to the fore with their generosity. and
Right.
their
We're
creativity.
putting out a lot of stuff online as well.
Yeah.
We're putting out weekly, Shakespearean monologues, like a lot of people, serving up Shakespeare. And, the book also came out
Yes.
about the company recently, Shakespeare and Company, When Action is Eloquence, written by Bella Merlin and our founding artistic director, Tina Packer. And people can order that up online at shakespeare.org. And there are all kinds of interviews about the book. If they go to our website and our Facebook page, there was one this afternoon at 4, and they can check in on that with our Director of Education, Kevin Coleman. And so really, we're kind of busting out all over. We're really, it feels just as busy as we've ever been.
Yes, indeed. I recently watched a couple of those interviews about the book, and they're so informative, and also they're quite entertaining. So I urge you to look those up and watch them. I also think, Al, you have one more video to say goodnight.
That's right. Let me take you out with a musical performance by Greg Boover, as I mentioned, who played Feste in our production last summer of Twelfth Night. All these monologues are opportunities for people to see performances done in a slightly different way, in a much more intimate setting, one-on-one with whoever's watching them. And so you'll see Greg here in his attic, complete with most of his belongings around him, but his Feste still comes through. So, Bobbie, it's so good to see you, and I look forward to the time when I can give you a big squeeze in person, and we can catch up and laugh in each other's company. But for now, I leave you with Greg Boover as Feste from 12th Night.
Thank you so much, Al.
We'll see you soon. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
When that I was and a little tiny boy, with a hey-ho, the wind and the rain, a foolish thing was but a toy, for the rain it raineth every day. When I came to man's estate, with a hey-ho, the wind and the rain, 'gainst knaves and thieves men shut their gates, for the rain it raineth every day. When I came last to life, with a hey-ho, the wind and the rain, by swaggering could I never thrive, for the rain it raineth every day. When I came unto my beds, with a hey-ho, the wind and the rain, with tosspots still had drunken heads, for the rain it raineth every day. A great while ago the world begun, with a hey-ho, the wind and the rain. But that's all when our play is done, and we'll strive to please you every day.
Oh, that was lovely. That was Greg Boover's Feste. I love that song. And that was from Shakespeare and Company's production of Twelfth Night. I like to get my daily dose of Shakespeare. Trust me. It goes down easy. It revitalizes. And you can, too, support their work on their website. We'll have a link for you in the comments. And thanks to Al for joining us to share the company's work with us tonight. Our next guest is the uber gifted fiddler and singer-composer Kathleen Parks. I met Kathleen when we did a production of Peer Gynt with the Boston Symphony Orchestra, and she just delighted all of us. Kathleen and her band Twisted Pine have been praised by NPR for their upbeat, poppy vibe, energetic, driving rhythms, and virtuosic solo. They have quickly become one of the most acclaimed young string bands in the Northeast. Twisted Pine is Dan Bowie on mandolin, Anne Fung on flute, Chris Satori on bass, and Kathleen on 5-string fiddle and vocals. Welcome, Kathleen.
Hi, Bobbie. Thank you so much for having me this evening. It's so great to be on All Together now.
Yes,
we're finally together.
To have you, Kathleen. You are where and coming to us from, and what are your days like during this time out of time?
Well, I'm currently based in Salem, Massachusetts. So I'm in Witch City and getting kind of spooky and special and zesty with trying out some essential oil blends. And then teaching fiddle over Zoom. So I'm doing a lot of that and making some videos for people to pay attention to and have some joy through music.
So you're finding
that's
all
about
the good
it right
things, now. and sharing and also recording on Zoom. I know you brought us a video postcard. Can you talk a little bit about the fabulous song?
Yeah. So this is a song that I wrote with the bassist Chris Sartori from Twisted Pine, and it's called Papaya, and it's kind of about that. It's kind of about fruit love, kind of waiting for a certain fruit to ripen at just the right time, so that you can get a good hold of it and enjoy it for all of its nutritious value, and instead of letting it go too long and you have to just
you have been using those potions, haven't you? Yes, I can tell. All right, let's see this wonderful video. I tell you, it will have your toes tapping. This is Twisted Pine's quarantine version called Papaya. Can we roll that, please? That was Twisted Pine playing Papaya. Just a feel-good toe-tapping song featuring Mike Harmon on drums. And they all look like they're having so much fun. There is so much musicianship, also intricacy to that music. And that song will be on their full-length album titled Right Now, which will be out in August. And you can see videos from a virtual show they did recently on their Facebook page. And also, I want to let you know that Kathleen has some new music coming out on Friday, May 22nd, with her duo, Kat and Brad. And I listened and watched some of those songs. They're delightful, so multi-talented. So thank you so much, Kathleen. Oh, I just have to say, Kathleen was supposed to do a live song for us tonight, but we lost her internet. So we will be inviting her back to do another show. Thank you, Kathleen. Thank you, Al, and everybody else who we saw tonight. As always, we have links in the comments so you can learn more about these artists and do support their work. And if you'd like to see more from All Together Now, please like, follow, and subscribe to us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And help us get to 500 followers on Facebook, please. We'd love to reach that milestone. We will be back on Thursday with gifted actor and singer DeLon Grant, who is currently on hiatus from his first Broadway show, Come From Away. And we also have something brand new. We're really happy to be able to create a space for new work in this time. The actor Ann Gottlieb and the dancer Ali Ross have been collaborating on a new piece created in this time of pandemic exclusively for All Together Now. We'll have that premiere. Until then, keep a song in your heart, hold a good thought, and have a good night.